Tuesday, March 5th, and it is great to have you here. It's the Damon Brew Show brought to you by Ike's. Loving sandwiches, baby. Get yourself an Ike's sandwich today. You'll be happy that you did. It is great to have you back here. I got a sip of the day ready to go right here and right now. I feel it. It's in the air. It's going to happen. Yeah, that was it. There it is right there. Thank you so much for coming on by today. We got some things to get into, and as the thumbnail suggests, we're talking about the deal that didn't work, and we're doing it first here. The Russell Wilson contract in Denver, the trade that brought Russell Wilson to Denver, and then the subsequent extension, when you factor it all together, and how unliked he was in Denver by his coaches, by the fans, and by some of his teammates, because Russell is just like a overly optimistic, goody two-shoes at all times. It just, like, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, especially Sean Payton, who told him at some point in time, like, stop kissing babies. Stop trying to trend on Instagram and TikTok, and stop trying to be like this cutesy little doesn't everybody love him. Like, get to fucking work is basically what was said. You know, get to work. Russell Wilson's going to be in another uniform this season. What that uniform is going to be, I do not know. But Denver probably has just wrapped up now with the decision to let him go. The single worst contract maybe in NFL history. It really is. When you involve all the moving parts of the contract and the subsequent crater of what it represented, it was bad. And it's funny, it's bad without even Russell Wilson, like, sinking to being an unplayable bad quarterback. But the whole thing was just such a funny fit and didn't work out. And it didn't matter who the head coach was. They changed that on Russell, trying to make it better. It just didn't happen. And this is a guy who, let's be completely honest, if you're a 49ers fan, and there's a very good chance you are a 49ers fan if you're sitting here today watching this, that's what probably brought you here in the first place. You know the damage that this guy did. Russell Wilson might have been listed as one of the owners of the San Francisco 49ers. He had so much ownage over this franchise. He was dominant when it came to playing and beating the 49ers. But you take him out of Seattle, and it's been a much different situation, right? So the Broncos gave the Seahawks 3 veteran players plus 2 first-round draft choices, 2 second-round draft choices, and a 5th-round selection. It was 8 total players and all. Right there, in that one transaction alone, it was bad. But then it got much, much worse. Because even though Russell was under contract for what would have been his first year in Denver, the Broncos thought to themselves, well, you know, we got ourselves such a special guy here now that we don't want to have this situation where he plays a great final year here and then is testing the market again. So we got to extend him right now, which they didn't have to, but they chose to, and they paid him $242.6 million over 5 years with $161 million guaranteed. One of the worst straight-up asset trades of all time. And then the subsequent contract that was given to Russell Wilson is among one of the worst of all time. You put them both together, folks, I do believe we have found the worst trade in NFL history, the worst contract in NFL history. Now, this doesn't apply to, galactic busts like Jamarcus Russell or anything like that, because you always take a gamble in a draft, and a rookie contract, by definition, isn't a gamble. It's the agreed upon, this is what you get paid when you come into a league. All this other stuff is like, okay, so now you're reaching a second contract, a second team, there's assets involved. So this has got nothing to do with rookies or one-offs. Because of that extension, the Denver Broncos now, again, what does this look like as you walk away from it? The Denver Broncos have $85 million in dead cap space. It cost them $85 million just to say goodbye. That is brutal. That's brutal. Now, where Russell Wilson ends up, for the right price, all of a sudden the guy that was just one of the worst contracts in all of football could become one of the best contracts in all of football. for the right price, that veteran minimum. I mean, who would you rather have if I gave you a choice right now between two free agents that are likely on this market this year, Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins, who is very close, I guess, to being cut by the Minnesota Vikings? Who would you rather have? Like Kirk Cousins for 28 to 35 million, or would you rather have Russell for like 3-4 million? I'd much rather have Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook just threw over 2 years in Denver for about 6,600 yards, 42 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, a quarterback rating of nearly 91, but just 11 and 19 as a starter. He wasn't good. He didn't run the system that Sean Payton wanted it run the way he wants things run. Russell took a lot of hits because he, again, instead of getting rid of that grenade, he cooked the grenade a little bit too long, holding on to it, looking to get scrambling Russell Wilson up in Seattle, magic happening again, and it really didn't happen. He wasn't nearly as bad as some people would have you think. But he also wasn't anywhere close to being the guy that they traded for, the guy that they hoped for, or having the team the success that they wanted. Look, just getting Russell Wilson out of the AFC West is going to get it a little bit easier, right? Chargers, Harbaugh, Herbert, we all know that's coming. We see the Kansas City Chiefs, and 49ers fans acutely know who they are. And the Raiders are what? Good enough to embarrass themselves one week and then good enough to put 62 up the next week. They were tough to figure out. Lots of inconsistencies there. Russell Wilson actually is a stopgap Raiders quarterback. Isn't the worst idea I've ever heard. Russell Wilson maybe to the New York Giants also, if they wanted to, but they got Daniel Jones and they're looking to draft, of course, because of where they're seated, so it's probably not going to happen there. Where does Russell Wilson land? Where's the right place for him? This is going to be a really interesting thing to keep an eye on as this offseason marches along. Again, thanks so much for being here. It's great to have you here today. The other contracts that I thought of, I thought of a few of these and I wrote down some details about, just like off the top of my head. What's one of the worst deals in NFL history? It's not even for a player. It's what the Raiders decided to give Jon Gruden. Now, this is a little unfair because you can pay Jon Gruden all the amount of money that you want, and it doesn't affect your cap space. But I'm still going to hold this against the Raiders because they were bidding against themselves in a world where no one was really running after Jon Gruden. Mark Davis decided to give him a 10-year, $100 million built-to-fail the day it was offered contract. I mean, it's just absurd. It was absolutely absurd. He leaves with question mark dollars. We don't know what the final walkaway price was after not even 3 years of Gruden and all the headaches. And, there was a little good football that came with it. There was a lot of distraction that came with it. There was a lot of embarrassment that came with it. There was, the Gruden era was so bad it even broke Hard Knocks. What more do you need to know? When you get it back to just the player pool, what's a bad contract? The Chicago Bears are guilty of one of the all-time stink bombs. When they gave Jay Cutler 7 years and $127 million, there was $54 million guaranteed, and in 3 years the Bears had paid him his $54 million, and he was never seen of in Chicago again. Smoking Jay Cutler. Albert Haynesworth is another one that instantly came to mind. Albert Haynesworth, 7-year, $100 million deal for a D tackle at the time. It was unheard of. Daniel Snyder and the then Washington Redskins put all of that in front of Albert Haynesworth, who had questions about his work ethic, his workout habits, whether or not he was even a good guy. And remember, he was suspended for stomping on a fallen player's face. He was gone in 2 years. Mike Shanahan was his coach and instantly hated the guy, benched him. You couldn't pass his physicals. It was a disaster, an absolute disaster. There's some bombs out there. There really are. But when it comes to what'd you give up in the trade, and then what did you turn around and pay this player in an extension, added to how quickly did you lose faith in the entire experiment and you're left with the dead cap crater of the decision to move on, I think Russell Wilson is it. The worst contract possibly in NFL history, with a chance of him, like I said, showing up in the right spot and representing a really good contract going forward. But man, that was a freaking disaster, and it was not long for the world. A couple of other NFL stories for you this Tuesday. Again, we're never going to waste your time. I promise you that. Other NFL stories, though, that you need to know about. The New York Giants are not tagging Saquon Barkley. So, already Ravens, Bears, Raiders have stepped up to say, hey, we might be interested in a guy like Saquon Barkley. When healthy, Saquon Barkley is a very special running back. He is a difference maker, the way that Christian McCaffrey, who, it's funny, by the way, I was, doing a little research. I was on the internet, and I was looking for bad NFL contracts, and in a story that was just a couple of seasons old, at number 10, worst NFL contract of all time, was the Christian McCaffrey extension in Carolina. Again, what is another man's gold, what is another man's trash is another man's treasure, right? Like Christian McCaffrey has been a great deal for the San Francisco 49ers, but coming off of injuries, extensions right before injuries, like they were looking at Christian McCaffrey as a horrible contract at one point, and he's been a savior of 49er football for sure. I don't know if Saquon Barkley is about to show up in the right situation and be a savior, but this guy is a real difference-making, franchise-changing running back. So looks like Saquon Barkley is going to be out of New York. The Panthers are making sure that their youngest, best player, certainly defensively, edge Brian Burns, isn't going anywhere. He gets tagged for at least one more year with the Carolina Panthers. And as I told you earlier, kind of let it slip, Kirk Cousins is about to be living that free agent lifestyle, coming off the Achilles, right? But the Vikings are very, very close to cutting bait on Kirk Cousins, so everyone in the NFL's kind of got their eye on that happening. And if Kirk Cousins really gets out there and hurts that market, Russell Wilson, dominoes start to fall. And the offseason's underway. I mean, let's go. The NFL is never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. We will have more on all of this. When I say we, I mean me and Larry Krueger. We're going to have it all for you on our first Wednesday wake-up, 8:30 Wednesday morning, Pacific Coast time. Larry and I will be at it to give you the very latest in any of all NFL news. We'll be previewing a little Warriors and Bucks, I'm sure, and just kind of looking at the entire world of sports through the Bay Area lens. And that is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it in under an hour. 3 days a week now. Wake Up is 8:30 to about 9:15. So it fits well into your morning, into your day, into your lunch hour, your drive home. We want to make it convenient for you, and we think we got the best show coming out of San Francisco. As a matter of fact, we're pretty sure of it. So thank you very much for getting ready for another Wake Up with yours truly and Larry Krueger coming up on Wednesday, 8:30 Pacific. And thanks, as always, for taking care of the sponsor who takes care of me, Mr. Ike himself. He was right there at Plus Mania 3, the Revenge, and he is, in about 100 other locations right now, making delicious sandwiches, just waiting for you to walk in and say, give me something delicious. He's going to say, okay, I can do that, because I got everything. Everything that you would need in a sandwich shop, you can find it at Ike's, whether you got dietary needs, you got vegan needs, you got super duper ooper fat boy needs that need to be satisfied. He can do that too. So get yourself to Ike's. Make sure you download that Ike's Rewards app. Start earning your way towards free sandwiches. Everybody in their birthday month gets a free sandwich just becoming an Ike's Rewards member. So make sure you sign up for that app anywhere you download your apps. A couple of things that I officially found interesting. First of all, this came and went without much fanfare, and this is what happens when there is maybe a little too much coverage. LeBron James became the first NBA player to eclipse 40,000 points, and we haven't even talked about it here yet. That's incredible. That's really incredible. For those out there who want to say, well, LeBron, all these career numbers are just compiling stats. He's putting these numbers together because he's played for so long. Look at what he's averaging. It's compiling stats if you're just putting together unimpressive stats and nights on top of each other just to make the totals grow. Like, this guy's got a triple-double in his career. I think he's over 40,000 points, 11,000, 12,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists. I mean, it's insane. It's insane what LeBron has done, and he was the best player as a teenager. He's been the best player in his 20s. He was the best player in the league in his 30s, and he is the best player in his, 40s when he gets there and beyond. I mean, this guy he's the best old man. He was the best young guy. He was the best in his prime guy. He is very, very special. And trying to take anything away from LeBron James is an indicator that you don't respect what is true greatness. And true greatness is being able to go out there and hit everybody with a legitimate fastball for 20 years. This guy's unbelievable. So there's that. That came and went with very little fanfare over here. You know who's also getting the most amount of fanfare of any other college athlete this year, and it's Caitlin Clark, who, of course, just set the record for all-time leading scorer in NCAA basketball. What I found interesting here, and this is where Caitlin might want to rethink what her plans could be, because Caitlin Clark's record-setting game against Ohio State, where she hit the free throws that made her college basketball's all-time leading scorer, got 3.4 million viewers, which is like the most amount of people to ever watch a women's college basketball game in its regular season. As a matter of fact, 3.4 million for any basketball game, like NBA games included, is a really big number. Caitlin Clark's record-setting game against Ohio State had more viewers than Victor Wembanyama's debut. And you're talking about, players that we become enamored with because everybody's talking about them in the moment. Everyone wanted to see what Victor Wembanyama looked like in that moment. Caitlin Clark was a bigger draw than Victor Wembanyama. As a matter of fact, and this is me doing some research, also known as looking it up on the internet, I asked the Google machine, what is the highest rated WNBA game on record? And the Las Vegas Aces series clinching Game 4 win last year was watched by an average audience of 889 viewers to become the most watched WNBA finals game on record. And I'm guessing that any WNBA finals game is where the best rating came from, not some WNBA regular season game. If I got that wrong, screw me. I'm the worst. But that game's viewership peaked at 1.3 million. Biggest WNBA audience ever, 1.3 million for a finals game. Caitlin Clark hitting free throws against Ohio State, 3.4 million. Caitlin Clark's bigger than the WNBA. The minute she declares for the WNBA draft, which she has, the WNBA should change their logo to Caitlin Clark. Just some chick with a kind of mid-gravity bobbing ponytail in this perfect straight up and down three-point shot coming from, a dribble or two over half court. I don't know how you get that all in the logo and still get it on a pair of shorts, but that's what the WNBA needs to do. Caitlin Clark by herself is more important to women's basketball. I'm not just talking about like NCAA or WNBA. I'm talking the gender of women playing basketball. Caitlin Clark by herself is now more important to this sport than the entirety of every other woman playing basketball across college and professional basketball. That's who Caitlin Clark is. Her wallet is the one that says bad motherfucker on it. If I were her, I would honestly tell the WNBA, I'm coming, you go ahead, you draft me, but I need a chunk of your TV deal. Like, you need to pay me in a way that makes other men and women in the world uncomfortable, because I am more important to the sport than the sport of women's basketball. Caitlin Clark playing basketball is more important than women's basketball, apparently, in America. She's unbelievable in terms of the amount of attention that she garners and the butts that she puts in seats. It's like she's out on like winter tour. If Caitlin Clark is coming to your gym is about to have a line of humanity wrapped around it. She is a bigger name in college sports than any guy playing college sports across any college sport. Like, I don't think Caleb Williams is as big of a name as Caitlin Clark has become. So I also saw that women's hoops, because of the Caitlin Clark steroids to their ratings, are actually averaging this month better than men's games across Fox Sports 1. So the world is changing, and it is changing in the direction of Caitlin Clark. Another story that I found kind of interesting. Arch Manning, who is the nephew of Peyton and Eli Manning, is not opting into the NCAA video game that everybody's talking about coming out in a few months. More than 10,000 college football players have already opted into EA Sports' College Football 25, which is going to be like the most anticipated video game of all time. It's been a decade since they were able to crank one of these out, so people are clamoring for it. There are going to be dudes not just taking a day off of work, but probably like a week's vacation when this game comes out to sit down and play it and start a franchise with their alma mater. It's going to happen. Heck, it might happen over here. Indiana football might win something when it's all said and done. But Arch Manning is not one of those kids who is opting in. And I guess any kid who does opt in is getting like $600 to $800 or whatever it is. Like, it's not life-changing money, but it's, hey, kid, you want to be in a video game? Like when they asked me, Damon, do you want to be in a video game doing halftime in NBA 2K? Like, I had to use my inner agent compass to make sure I didn't say out loud, like, yes, I'd be happy to do it, and I'll do it for free. That's how cool it would be to be in this video game. And I'm glad I didn't say that, because they actually paid me pretty well to get in it. Most of these kids, if you just told them, we're going to put you in the video game a few years ago, they would have been like, yeah, all right, cool, do it. That's awesome. I can't wait to see my name on that video game. I can't wait to see myself as a football player and play as myself in a game. That's going to be great. It's going to be fun. And then, of course, money gets involved, and money, you're going to want a cut of that too. But like most of the kids have just been like, yeah, cool, put me in the game. Now I can make like $800 too. Sure, that's good. Who does that hurt? Why not? Arch Manning has come out saying that the reason why he's not putting his name in the video game is because he wants to focus on the field at Texas. Stop. There are two things going on here. Number one, Arch Manning's agents, or whoever his handlers are negotiating, I'm sure, directly with EA for a bigger cut of the pie. And if he gets it, he'll opt in. He is already making the case that without having played more than 5-6 snaps of football, I am the most recognizable name in college football going forward. And if you want it in your game, if you want to profit off of it, it's going to cost you more than the $600 for the kid who is this guard right next to me, who's no one can even name. No one knows. What's that guy's first or last name? I dare you to tell me. Now tell me who my name is. I'm Arch Manning, and you knew that, and we all knew that. That's why he's not opting in. This is like what Barry Bonds and Bill Belichick did with their video game runs, right? You played with John Dowd hitting cleanup for the San Francisco Giants because Barry's like, my name's too big. I'm not just throwing it in the player pool. Bill Belichick always did the same thing. You never got to use Bill Belichick as a coach in Madden because Bill Belichick didn't opt in. Arch Manning is holding out for more money, or he's telling EA, you know what? We rich already. Us Mannings, we come from down the mountain of money to come talk to you regular folks. Like, I know that there's this whole Smoky Mountain, Tennessee thing that my dad had going for him, and we are approachable, and we were raised right by our dad, and Elder Manning did a great job raising his boys. He really did. Archie Manning did a hell of a job. His boys are humble. They got real good personalities. They can carry a television broadcast opposite Monday Night Football. They're good, clever, fun, relatable, normal guys. Never confuse that with anything other than galactically rich, like New Orleans Chamber of Commerce level wealthy. Like big wealth. So, $600 to the next kid, it's not the same thing to Arch Manning. He's going to hold out for a bigger payday, and I'm sure that they're working on a bigger payday. You watch. He'll be involved in the game somehow, some way, if not this year, later, with a much bigger price tag as the cover athlete. He knows what he's doing. Again, everyone is playing checkers. The Mannings are over here playing chess. One other thing on a particularly slow news day here that I want to get into today's show is that there is talk of March Madness. It is the month of March. Happy March, everyone. Dana O'Neill in The Athletic had the article that with less than 2 weeks to go before Selection Sunday and the release of the men's NCAA tournament bracket, college basketball insiders are prepping for an expanded field in the very near future. Exactly what that looks like needs to be carved out in various committee meetings, but there is less than likelihood that the tournament will swell much beyond its current rank of 68 teams. We're not talking about 96 teams. There's little to no appetite for 96 or really even 80 teams. This person who was unauthorized to speak didn't go on record, but those are the quotes. Here's my quote. It's perfect. Don't mess with it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Look, when it was 64, it was perfect. You had to go to 68 to give us our first four in Dayton, Ohio. Sure. Okay. I'll give you that one. No big whoop. I'm cool with it. Don't do anything else. Remember when the NCAA tournament did stupid things like, we're not going to call it the East, West, North, South, Midwest anymore. The regions are going to be the names of the cities that they're in. Who's coming out of the Atlanta region? Who's coming out of the Dallas region? Who's coming out of the Wyoming region? Like, nobody glommed onto that. It was stupid. Every single time they tweak or change or do anything to the NCAA tournament, they ruin it a little. They never make it better. When they went to nothing but uniform courts, and it's just the NCAA with the bracket thing coming off of it, and it's like you don't know where you're looking anymore. You used to see, hey, they're playing in Cleveland State. There's the Martian right there on the center court. I knew, it was recognizable. It was relatable. It was more intimate. It was more special. The NCAA, here's the deal. NCAA, haven't you done enough? Haven't you totally, thoroughly realized that everything you've done has screwed up, that it has not worked, that it didn't come out in the wash? You didn't win. Everything you do loses. Don't do this. The men's basketball tournament is the one great thing you have left going for you. Don't screw this up too. God. Indiana's going to screw it up, not even be in the tournament this year. It's not going to change. I'm still watching. I'm still going to be there. I love that. It's my favorite sporting event of the year. Here's what you need to do with it. Nothing. Do nothing with it. Add nothing. Zero. Do nothing. If you do nothing, you will have done the right thing. If you do anything other than nothing, you've done something wrong. God. Here's how bad the NCAA is at even pretending that it matters anymore. Also, and this just happened right before I came on the air, Dartmouth basketball players have voted to unionize. So deal with that, NCAA. You go deal with the huge legal battle that you've got coming right up your ass. Thanks to the fellas at Dartmouth. You go deal with that. Okay, Chief? Leave the NCAA tournament alone. I feel passionately about this, by the way. I care about this. I really do. We'll have a little bit more on the Dartmouth unionization and what it means to the future of basketball and all that stuff. We'll get to all that in a little bit. How bad was that Warriors loss in Boston? It was bad. Look, it was a good road trip, right? They were at a 4-game road trip. They come back 3-1. That's what matters. Right now, they're looking to win more games than you lose math. 3-1 equals you've won more games than you've lost math. But that loss to Boston was particularly bad. Most points scored by a Warriors opponent in any half this season, 82. Boston did it. Largest lead by any Warriors opponent in any game this season, 44 points. As a matter of fact, the 44-point halftime lead for the Celtics is their largest in franchise history, and they've been playing basketball in Boston since 1946. So, that was bad. That was really bad. That was disheartening. You can't make the argument that you're about to be a contender and lose like that. Now, Wednesday, it's the Milwaukee Bucks coming to town. Thursday, it's the Chicago Bulls coming to town. Then Saturday, it's the San Antonio Spurs coming to town. This is a 3-game homestand. Go ahead and get 2 of them because you're going to be losing to Milwaukee. I think we all know that. The Bucks are playing really good basketball. They're winners of 6 in a row. Then they got a 3-game roadie, which, by the way, they're going to have back-to-back games with San Antonio. They got a home game against San Antonio. Then they go out on the road for the start to 3-game roadie where they do the Texas 2-step, San Antonio, Dallas, and they go to the Lakers. Try to be anything other than 1 and 2 in that 3-game road 3-game road trip. That's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one. Going to have to get that San Antonio game. You're going to probably have to get Dallas and the Lakers. Whenever I look up, the Lakers are usually beating the Warriors. I hate to say it. It happens. So let's hop into the chat and hang out there for just a little bit, see what's going on with all the good people of the world here. But I needed to focus on these things, get them off my chest today. And I thank you for being here. It is my therapy. March 5th. 1982. We are celebrating a very ominous date here. On March 5th, 1982. On this date, 33-year-old John Belushi passed away at Chateau Marmont. What would that guy have meant to comedy had he lived? Would it have been a growth in comedic just stature, and he is an all-time legend, or is the fact that we never saw him become unfunny is what's framed him as the all-time legend? One of them. It's tough, what do they say? Def Leppard? It's better to burn out than fade away. John Belushi, forever young. Too much coke at the Chateau Marmont. 33 years old. That hurt. I'm still a Saturday Night Live guy. I mean, it's not funny anymore. It's not good anymore, really. But those old episodes of Saturday Night Live, man, those don't exist anymore. Those are good days. So there it is. Your assignment today is to not overdose at the Chateau Marmont, really anywhere. No overdosing, because you got to be back on Wednesday, 8:30 in the morning for Wake Up with yours truly and Larry Krueger. We'll, of course, be back at it right here at 11 a.m. as well on the Damon Bruce Show. Thank you for watching here on Damon Bruce Plus. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We will get into a little Club Plus here on YouTube. But for you listeners today, I say thank you so much for tuning in. And sports don't build character. They reveal it. Like that, he's gone. All right, what do we got? R.I.P. Cougar Rebel coming right in. Jon Gruden was overrated. People forget he lost the Jamarcus Russell Raiders when he was coaching Tampa. That loss got him fired. Yeah, you didn't want to be losing to Jamarcus. You really didn't want to lose. This is also correct, Albert. The Cutler contract was bad, but the Bears haven't had a good quarterback in a while. I'll correct you on that. The Bears really haven't had a good quarterback, not ever. So there's that. Hello to my friend Mark Persante. Good to see that you are good. We got things scrolling going back here. Yeah, Mark was buried in snow. Insane wind, deep snow, hunkered down for 3 days, but the powder skiing at Palisades was off the charts yesterday. Again, Belushi, powder, it all goes together. So, what do we got? What is this? Damon and Larry trying to step in that morning roast time. Here's the thing, UC Steve, it's not that I want to compete with old friends or anything like that, but what we need to do is get a show together when we have time to do it together, and mornings work out for us. That's the schedule. Look, if any of these radio stations have a problem competing with us, you should have told both those radio stations not to let us go. Whatever happens to them, they ordered it off the menu. I didn't order it. Red Jet, salute to LeBron. Indeed. I mean, dude, 40,000 points. It's insane. Sporticus. One word. Yes, that's the worst trade ever. The Russell Wilson trade is awful. Just awful. The crater. The crater left by the trade that didn't work out is like the most amount of dead cap space I think I've ever seen. We have Chris saying, Damon, fix the E on your plus sign. The E is creeping low. Is it? Well, the E's holding, but Jack's snowman. Oh, the first E in the. All right, hold on. There we go. Better? People keep asking me, what's the plus mean? I don't even know anymore. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to make a disco face. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. I knew a little something looked different. I'm like, why does it just look kind of dark in here? Here we go. There we go. Now it's a frickin' party. Now we can overdose at Chateau Marmont. Chef A. Like, hey. Had an Ike's last night for dinner. The Paul Rubens. Yummy. It's a good one. It's a great one, as a matter of fact. Let's see. DJ Melvis, who, by the way, showed up at Plus Mania 3. I can name more current NCAA women's basketball players, at least 10, than men's players. I'm stuck at 2. This is the first season I've been able to say that. Look, college has become way too much of a turnstile in the men's department. It really has. You don't get to know any players the way that people have gotten to know Caitlin Clark. You just don't get to know. You don't get to develop that relationship. UC Steve is right here. Caitlin Clark needs to do the Van Wilder thing and stay in school for like 10 years. She's going to be forgotten in the NBA. She's going to be uncovered in the NBA, it feels. The WNBA needs Caitlin Clark. They need like 10 Caitlin Clarks. I mean, she gets buckets, man. She does. You know, and maybe it's the whole you are the big fish in the smaller pond. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it'll translate to the WNBA. I do know when I hear things like, oh, Caitlin Clark would have been one of the greatest basketball players of all time, even if she played with them. No, if Caitlin Clark played with the guys, I doubt she's getting that shot off. There's still a difference there, folks. I know we all want to live in a world where we pretend that, oh, it's all the same. It's not. Like, how good do you think Caitlin Clark would be with Gary Payton Jr. locking her up? You know, I mean, come on. Big Mac says he's ready for that NCAA video game. Big Mac, I saw this earlier. I even pinned it earlier. This is from Big Mac. Sadly, I missed yesterday. Been a little crazy for your boy lately. Found out I'm moving to Green Bay, Wisconsin in April. At least you're going in April and you're not like moving there in February where you're going to be instantly miserable. It's cold there. Bring a winter coat. All I can tell you is that you'll be able to buy a mansion for what you'd spend on a house in California if that's where you're going from. But you're going to be surrounded by Packers fans, which means it's going to be a long life. Good luck with that. That is Green Bay, Wisconsin. I don't think I've ever read the sentence, I'm moving to Green Bay, Wisconsin. So I don't know what that's going to mean or what that's going to do for you. But I wish you luck, man. We're certainly going to miss you and hopefully not miss you at all, because I do believe YouTube gets to Green Bay, Wisconsin. So it's not like you're leaving the signal. But best of luck to you, brother. You know, how about this? Last Dive Bar. Hello. Putting a 50 spot out there today. Just came in here to say Damon Bruce is the fucking man. Thank you. Cheers. Look, I've been saying a lot of nice things about Last Dive Bar. You certainly don't have to pay me to say them. I am on your guys' side time and time again. I think what you're doing, it's the right fight. It's a good fight. I wish you a fair fight, and you won't get that because you're fighting against dastardly people. But very, very nice and very generous, and thank you. 50 spot. Take that. Oh, look at this way. And then tacked on a little sprinkle. $2 to pay for a red heart. Thank you very much. JJ Raider Ganja Jar. Getting full. You're right about this. Drake's who? Who? Anyone ordered Drake's beer lately? I haven't. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to say it again. Oh, and there's another little sprinkle. A peach. You bought a peach. Thank you very much. Oh, now we're getting ridiculous. We got a super sticker, a pear character jumping up and down saying #1 fan. Again, I can see that over here, like on Twitter on my phone or on, excuse me, what is this? This is the, whatever this is. The scroll on my YouTube channel on the phone over here, which sometimes I have open. I see it, but on here on Restream, I don't get the actual goofy thing jumping up and down. But thank you. Thank you very, very much. Last dive. All right. A Last Dive Bar. Enough. Little my hero blinking, making eyes at me. Thank you very, very much. Look, you guys are my heroes, guys. You really are. You're doing an incredible job fighting a fight that probably will not allow you to win, right? I mean, it's you're playing a rigged card game. So I wish you the best. Ooh, little hot dog. Look at this. Look at it. By the way, Last Dive Bar is leaving the rest of you in the dust in terms of, chat generosity. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not trying to cast any dispersions on anyone. But there we go. Another super sticker. Cheers and thank you. Oh, another one? Come on, man. What are you putting it up? Just for... Is this for the Oakland 68s at this point? Give them $68 through super stickers or something? I don't even know, but thank you very, very much. Too kind. DJ Samurai Night Fever. Dude, the Samurai Delicatessen, the Samurai John Belushi skit is like one of the apex skits in Saturday Night Live history. Oh my God, I love it. No doubt about here. The same could be said for John Candy and Chris Farley. Legends gone too soon. No doubt. Simply fanboys of Damon. Thank you, Last Dive Bar. I'm fans of you guys too. You know that. R.I.P. Cougar Reb. Drugs are bad. Okay. Yes. Yeah. And leave Red Jet. She watches South Park. Okay. Miss you on the leader, Bruce. Thank you very much, Rector Leak. I do. I still do. I get into the car. I listen to the radio still to this day. I'm always going to love radio. Sports talk radio. Part of me is always going to be drawn to it. Who's talking? What's talking? It just sounds like all they're talking about now are weekend board ops. Like everybody that I listen to basically sounds like a weekend board op, and there's a reason for that, and that's because most of them were weekend board ops just a minute or two ago. Now, a few of these guys absolutely deserve their shot. Other guys are getting that shot because they can't afford actual talent to come into the radio station anymore, and I think the entire year of my past life has been proof of that. I mean, it's amazing what has happened to Bay Area sports talk radio. It just sucks without me. So there it is, kids. You're the best. Best group. Hold on. Last dive bar. Stop it. Look at that. John Fisher and Dave Cavill can eat the poop emoji. Damon's coming for them. Damon for president. Again, I don't want that job either. But thank you very much. Last dive bar. Just throwing down like Rob C-Note. Dude, you guys, there's even more of it. Come on. Come on. Stop it. Stop. How can all of you watch this happen and not join in the fun? I guess would be my question. No, thank you very, very much. Oh, my God. Another one. There you go. Really appreciate it. This is from Danny Golding TV. Damon, I'm at the part of the stream where you talked about being in video games. I remember playing NBA 2K11 for the Wii with you as the halftime voice. It was great. I loved it again. Had they called me and just said, you want to be in the game? I would have been like, yes. Yeah, I'll do it. But I didn't say it right away. So they were like, and here's what we're going to pay you to be in the game. And then I'm like, oh, my God, I would have done it for free. I would have done it for free. Thank you very, very much, everyone. Oh, Big Mac is going there from Idaho. But going to be spreading the love of the Palouse and the 49ers, all those Packer fans. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Working on getting that mansion. That's the thing. You should be able to live like next to Brett Favre. Not that anyone wants to live next to Brett Favre, but maybe the neighborhood that he was in. But Big Mac, good luck to you, man. Moving's a stressful thing. Moving is a very, very stressful thing. So hopefully it's not too stressful for you. Last dive bar was bringing the heat today. No doubt. Oh, look at, there we go. Chef A. She's not going to let Last dive bar have all the fun. Little sprinkle. Thank you very much. By the way, Chef A, we are out of brittle. Finished it last night. She brought me a little bag of brittle. So good. God, that's good. Last dive bar. Dude, you got to stop. Dinner for you and the wife. We also have 2 packages coming your way. Well, so they did. They asked me T-shirt sizes. You guys send me a couple T-shirts. You've done enough. Thank you so very much, Last dive bar. I mean it. It's a pleasure to support you. It takes no effort at all to be on the right side of something. You're on the right side of something by saying how much I admire what you guys do makes me on the right side of something, and that is the reward in its own. So thank you so much. Oh, and Mark Persante. Mark Persante, again, you too, you don't need to buck up anybody. Mark Persante, every now and then I get a totally unanimous package at my front door, and it's either got like hot sauce and weed in it or like chili peppers and weed in it. So, God, you're the best, Mark. Thank you very, very much. Michael's in there. Look at Michael coming on in. Michael. With a face vomiting sticker, whatever that means. I don't even know what that means. I want to say thank you very much, but certainly to the Last dive bar for being the benefactor of today's show, along, of course, with our sponsor, Ike. But my goodness, certainly appreciate that. Wasn't expecting any of that on this otherwise sleepy Tuesday afternoon. You certainly made my afternoon. Thank you for joining me during your very busy time this afternoon. And the only thing I can tell you is that it kills me to let you know that you don't have to go home. You just can't stay here. Talk to you. Wake up 8:30 in the morning. We'll